Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to a marketing powerhouse who is redefining what's possible for small businesses. She's also a dear friend of mine. Her name is Aashima Verma and is the daring and visionary director and CEO of AV Marketing Inc., a company she scaled to over $1 million in just 3 years. With nearly a decade of experience in marketing, lead generation, and funnels, Aashima's approach is both strategic and fearless, and the results speak for themselves. She's recently been nominated for both the SME Small Business of the Year and Young Entrepreneur of the Year awards. From e-commerce and coaching to beauty brands and franchises, including helping us double our new customer acquisition in just 90 days, Aashima has helped businesses across the board grow smarter and scale faster. Today, we are so lucky that she's here with us to share her wisdom, her story, and her unapologetic belief that ads should work hard so you don't have to. Welcome, Aashima.
Oh my God, that was so sweet. Thank you so much.
You know, my wife is great at writing these intros.
I'm so touched. I'm like, all true, but wow, sounds so good.
But it's a nice way to start. Because it feels so empowered. And I did that.
No, thank you. I actually, the Young Entrepreneur of the Year, I've gotten it twice, the nomination, and then we got another one too. Yeah, thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes, but don't let her age fool you. She's quite a shark in this world, and we're so proud of her. Aashima, you've built a thriving agency and helped over 100 businesses scale. But take us back to the beginning. What was it like? What first drew you to marketing and advertising, and how did that evolve into the work that you do today?
Honestly, I got started almost 10 years ago, and I am a huge believer of the process of elimination. So when I went to school, even when I was very little, my parents just I don't know if it was them or just me, but they always said, oh, she's going to do commerce, or she's going to go into business. But their vision for me was she's going to do an MBA and then work for a really big multinational corporation. They always saw that for me. Yes. So I also saw that for me. But after completing my bachelor's of commerce, I did an honors in international economics. And then I was I am not a fan of accounting. I don't really love taxes. So I started interning with the traditional media publications. And it wasn't part of my program, but I just really wanted to see what it's all about. So I did the finance with one of the biggest newspapers in India. And then I did other things. I did events. And then during this, we were managing an electronic, EDM concert. And I was behind the scenes. And because, you're young, you're students. So I was oh, I want to volunteer for the marketing. And we wanted to sell the tickets to students. And the best way at the time, we would do posters, everything, but we needed something cost efficient. And then that was the first time I boosted a post. And I was what the hell? It was only $10 and we could reach the whole university, and we got tickets. And now I know, and I'm not a fan of boosting, and I know so much more, but that was my first trial, and I was still doing my bachelor's. And so that was whoa. I like this. I don't finance. Yeah, it was fun. You're right. And then I was social media. I did not know a lot about the paid side. So that's what I went to do, the social media. I remember I finished my bachelor's. I was going to go. So I grew up in India for context. So I was going to move abroad, Germany to be specific, for my master's. And I got accepted, all the tests, started learning German. And as fate would have it, my education consultant, they messed up my embassy interview, like the dates. The fee was paid like for the 2 semesters, and it was heartbreaking. All my friends are going to university, and I thought I was going to Germany, and then like suddenly, like a month before, they said, "Oh, you can come in the next semester. We can't do anything about it." And I was like, no, everyone is already in school. I can't wait anymore. And at the time, my dad had a really big work contract in Canada. So he's like, well, everyone comes here to study. Why don't you explore Canada? I'm like, no, I'm Punjabi too. And like, everyone wants to go to Canada as a Punjabi. I'm like, I don't want to do that. No. And then, but I had no other options. I'm like, sure, I'll do it.
For the last option.
Yeah, I'm so sad now that I look at, but I came here. I studied marketing management, and it was so focused on digital that it was like the best program for me. I like got Dean's honor roll, like the whole international student thing. I also ended up doing public relations, corporate communications. Like I studied this, and like I think before I even finished my first program, I had my first client in London, Ontario, a small business. And my prof actually had recommended me. So that was like my first,
Very nice.
Like it's a cool story. It all worked out obviously 10 years later, but it was worth it for sure.
It was to show you that when things don't work out the way you think they're supposed to, instead of being angry about it, look for the little miracles in that situation. And you never know. That probably turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to you.
I mean, probably it did turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to her. But the other side of the coin is that she could be doing this podcast at the Alps in Switzerland or southern France or somewhere in Spain.
You can still do that. That's entirely possible.
In Munich.
Okay, so I thought Aashima and I were talking about this earlier, and you kind of changed course in the last moment. We thought it'd be interesting to bring you guys into our business a little bit, because Aashima is not only a dear friend of mine, she's also she's our ad agency. So we thought it'd be cool for her to sort of pull back the curtain and share how she's working with us and how she's supporting us. So hopefully again for that. But let's talk about the beginning with us. Aashima, when we first started working together, what stood out for you about Saranghae's marketing or paid ad setup? What opportunities did you immediately see growth for?
I think every time, it usually starts with a conversation. So I'm usually talking to the founders. And so the way we've set up our agency is like we're very strategy heavy, creative heavy, and it needs to be a fit. Yes. For you to work with us. We don't take on everyone. There's only I want to say 10% of the people I speak to that I actually say, hey, this is a good fit. We should move forward. I'm very blunt about the cost. I'm very upfront about what it's really going to take, the timeline. I do not say that ads are a magic wand. Yeah. Marketing works when you have a really good product. And I think the first thing that I actually noticed about Saranghae was all of your product reviews. I think I'm like, it's a good product. I saw people saying they were returning, which is a massive green flag for me to run ads, because I know I'm not just making money in the first order. We're probably going to have a higher LTV. So that was number one. The second thing, after, this is even before we are on the call. This is me just looking at the website and all of the things, the little form that you've submitted.
And the background checks.
Yeah. And then we asked this question, have you worked with an agency before? Because when you kind of know what the relationship is going to be about. And when you start working with us, you'll also know how we're different. And obviously, you guys can answer this better, but yeah, we just work slightly differently, but people are you're used to the monthly investment, etc. You already know the system. The other thing that I noticed, and when we had a conversation and when we looked around in the ad account a little bit, it showed lack of capacity. because I think both of you kind of knew that it could be bigger.
Yeah.
But I remember, Peter, it felt like, actually, Peter, do you want to jump on? Like, how did it feel before we started working together? Like, how did the ad account feel, or how did the marketing feel? The paid
Yeah,
side?
so, yeah, good question. So I'll start off by saying that Aashima's company is the best media buy company we work with, and we've worked with about 5 over the years. And what people should know is that we've come through years of media buying with ups and downs and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, I think I went into the meeting with Aashima with a little bit of like a shield, like what a wall. Because,
Guard,
you know,
yeah.
because, you know, everybody will attest to that when they speak to a potential consultant, they always, you know, say the most positive things and nobody can fail. And everybody says this, you know, same things. Oh, we can, I mean, we get the emails today, right, Andrea? Well, I can increase your revenue by 250% by that. So it's like we get 20 of these emails a day. So I wasn't all that, you know, what would make her any different than, you know, the 200 other agencies I've spoken to, right? So that was the interesting part about all of this. But a couple of things I think were, right off the bat, I think I knew Aashima could be a good fit. Number one was she's just the right size. So one of the issues I had with some of the other consultants is that when they get too big, we lose the contact of the brilliance of the founder, the person who actually makes the machine tick, and we get the relationship with the juniors that kind of go through the mill and they don't really care. So, you know, your consultant or your partner has to care, because the partner really has to be a partner, not just a service provider. Like, oh, what do you want today? Well, let me provide you with this. The other thing is that she wasn't too small, because when you're too small, just starting out, then you just haven't run the gambit enough. So you have to have the right mix of 1 and 2. The second thing is that Aashima came from a referral. And so we know that she had the great work ethic. We knew that she cared about the business, because no matter how great you are, what you do, if you don't care, it's just not going to work.
Long term, anyway.
Yeah. And then the last thing was that Aashima understood a couple of things, and she was pretty upfront. Number one, she asked about LTV, which is lifetime value. She understood immediately that the way the media buys work with modern meta, which is the costs are increasing, the CPMs or cost per million impressions are increasing, and therefore effective cost per clicks and CPAs or cost per acquisitions are increasing. They're going to keep going up. So the way to make it successful is that you have to have customers keep coming back. So you pay up front for the customers, but they have to come back in the back end for the system to actually work. And immediately she understood that has to be the case, or else it's just not going to work. So a lot of the other providers would say, oh, don't worry, we've made it work for somebody in the past, and we can get your cost per click down to 30 cents. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew we pay somewhere between $1.50, $2 a click to $7 a click. It's not going to change.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we had this conversation where Aashima just said, look, this is what the issue is going to be. We have to do it with creatives, because you can no longer game the Facebook system. And I knew all of this. And so when we talked with Aashima and we understood within 15 minutes what the rules of the game are, we all put it on the table. And then I said, okay, she knows what she's talking about. She understands the challenges. I think, and we trust that the people that we both know are saying great things about her. So let's go ahead and do it. It was really the right situation, the right relationship, the right size. It was just kind of perfect in that little threshold, right? So, and when I say perfect, when I say mid-size, like Aashima's company could be, you know, if you're only starting out, she's probably not right for you, because you know, there is a level of investment that needs to be had. But anywhere from $1 million a year to even $20 million a year, maybe even $100 million in revenue, Aashima would be a good fit.
I would even say a little bit less. Like, I don't think you need to be $1 million company, but you need to be at least a high 6-figure.
Yeah, but you can't stress about, $6,000-$7,000 a month, because you can't stress about that. Like, that's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
So if you're stressed about that, then you're gonna.
Then it's not a fit.
Yeah. And if you gotta be willing to, if Aashima says, look, let's increase the budget by 50%. She said that to me, and I said, okay, let's do it. Because we're large enough to be able to absorb any mistakes or anything. Oh, it didn't work out. It's okay. We're large enough. We couldn't. If you can't,
I've also been there, done that before, so you know what to expect. So this is another
Well, here's the thing. We're of a size right now where if Aashima says, let's go spend $10,000 a day, and it doesn't work, that's a big mistake. That's $100,000 a month in spending. You lose $50,000. Yeah, that'll hurt a company of our size. A $1 billion company won't, right? But anybody who's just starting out, that is a big amount, humongous amount, right? So there's a good ratio that has to kind of fit. So that's that's kind of where our relationship with Aashima started, and it's going on right now.
Aashima, we're talking about some of the mistakes that you've seen with ad agencies, but what would be some common mistakes that you see founders making with paid ads, and what would you want every entrepreneur to understand before they spend even a single dollar?
Yeah. Oh my God, great question. I can talk about it for hours, but I think one thing that actually Peter kind of touched about, and it was true for you guys too, I want to say 9 times out of 10, when I do an audit before like taking on someone as, a retainer client, I see this all the time. They're not testing enough ads. We're using the word creative for someone who doesn't know this world. It's the actual photo, the image, or the video that you are basically using as an ad. It's so wild to me that agencies or partners haven't caught up to this. Like, that is the only lever in this age that you can pull, especially in 2025 and beyond. That is taking away so many
levers
and little things that used to matter, and now they're just like, no, trust us.
Yeah.
Especially with targeting. So a lot, I used to be this person that, hey, we can target X, Y, Z, and now the only targeting that is actually gonna work is your creative. What I mean by that is like the photo or the video that you're showing to the people, that has to qualify people. Because a lot of times I see small businesses, I understand that way of thinking. Like, you just don't want to spend a lot of money. And they're like, I can do my own photo or video, or like, I have an organic agency. Like, they do my content already. We'll just use what they are creating for ads. And the studio photos don't work. The
say that again. The studio photos don't work for ads.
They don't work as ads. And the polished recorded.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the more polished things look, the less they convert.
Yes. And what that means is, the good thing is you don't need a fancy videographer. And the great thing is, like, you have to be game for at least committing. For our clients, we say 1 day a month of content batching, right? And I think we are lucky that you guys are local to us, so we can send one of our team members to get this content. But there's a lot of work that goes into.
Absolutely.
We do so much research. We're looking at competitors, but not really direct competitors. We're coming up with like new angles. Like, there's just, I think, you don't need, in this age, if someone is starting and they're trying to hire an agency, regardless of the size, you don't just need a media buyer, which is the person who's also called an ad manager. You need a strategist, and definitely someone who's creative to lead your media buying. Right now, I think the only skill that a media buyer needs to have is, can you actually manage my money?
That's a really good point. Like, so when I started back like almost 12 years ago, there was a handbook out on how to do Facebook marketing. And it was basically just switching colors, like red to blue, and and rewording the thing here, like because it worked. Because it worked. Yeah, it worked. So you could boost conversions by grayscaling a picture, or by changing the headline's color from blue to red, and you would test all of these creatives. But that was a long time ago, right? Wow. So, to answer Aashima's question, the reason why even we were not testing enough creatives is simple. It's because it takes a lot of work. The work that Aashima does is not in the filming, it's the prep work. It's the strategy, the planning, the execution, the what if scenarios, the research. That takes all the time. And that's the time that I just didn't have internally.
Yeah. I think the founders who are ready for ads I don't need to convince them that they need to run ads.
Yeah,
They know.
that's right.
They know they need to run ads. They've unfortunately just had really awful experiences before, and they're scarred. And I understand this is your hard-earned money, and someone promised you something and unfortunately under-delivered. So I have a lot of compassion and empathy. Very similar to your case, like you had worked with so many people. So, which is why I have to be honest and transparent from the get-go. Another thing that I think a lot of small businesses get like wrong about paid ads is the daily spend. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but in my industry, everyone is advertising. You can get X result with $5 per day, $10 per day. And I'm like, girl, no. No, you cannot. And
that's a lie.
That's a lie. And again, you know what? I want to clarify though. If you're doing nothing and you do that, that's something. But if you're working with an agency, which is like my last and final point about what social media small businesses get wrong, usually they work with an agency and spend whatever the retainer is, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever. And they don't see how much of that money is going towards the actual spend versus the fee. My rule of thumb is like, if you're paying someone $2,000, $3,000, whatever $1,000 per month to manage your ads, you should be spending at least that much with Meta, right? It's so, like, I have a client now, she's been with us for 2 years now. This person worked with a top agency in Toronto and $50,000 for the year, like in fee. I went back, like when I looked at the ad account, there were 2 ads tested for the year with $30 a day spent.
What? Wow. That's awful.
And it was a traffic campaign. So for the people who understand, it's not even getting you sales, it's just getting you eyes and traffic. So it's just, you know why it happened? After being, I was on the hunt. There was a season when I was like, I just need to find someone, like a media buyer with my thinking. And I really tried. And what I found out, I talked to a lot of other agency owners, and I'm like, how can you even quote something? Like, you know, I unfortunately I have to compete with people who say, oh, you pay $2,000 or whatever for social media and then just pay another $500 for ad management. And I'm like, that doesn't cover my calls. Like, you know, like it doesn't cover anything. I'm like, how are people even quoting this? And then they just outsource the media buying to someone so junior who's given 3 hours for the month to manage someone's ad. So how are you going to analyze, edit, tweak, spend in like 3 hours?
That explains a lot.
100%. And that's the reason why I said it when I went through the conversation with Aashima, which is if the person doesn't care, if the company doesn't care, nothing else matters. Like the situation with this company that Aashima was talking about, it's not about the skill set. They have the skill set, the experience. They just didn't care. Right? It was just an account to them. But
it feels also like they didn't truly understand how this stuff works. So for them to put someone in that position to 3 hours a month or whatever it is.
Well, I'm sure they do. They just didn't care. That's what happens.
All right. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to us.
Yeah.
That sounded really horrible, but anyway, you know what I mean?
It's the truth. Let's get back to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just
we're the most important. Let's do it.
What's that?
They said, we're the most important. Let's do it.
You guys are.
I didn't
Let's
go. But it came out that way, 100%. I'm trying to keep us on track. And here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that Aashima and I really are proud of is that in 90 days, we doubled our new customer acquisition. Can you walk us through the core strategies or shifts that made that possible? What were the key levers you pulled? What did you do differently? What can you share about that?
I think one of the first things that, like, I always start this way. I audit your current ads and everything that you've ran in the past. And I look at the past results. So I am always looking for, was there something, an ad campaign that was already working that I can scale? Because that is going to give us the the profit push, the first win. Like if there is something, I always also look at the organic content too. So I see, hey, is there anything I can just use as is? Can I repurpose it as an ad and it'll perform? So I did that, and I looked at the older campaigns, and I actually increased the budget with the ones that, maybe it gets missed. We've ran so many ads. So I'm like, oh, this is the highest return on ad spend in this campaign. This is the product that was, working. So something that I've noticed for you guys, and I obviously do a lot of research and talk to you guys, the intensives, the strategy intensives. Say, what are your best performing products? So that's another thing. So my goal in the first 90 days is almost like the low hanging fruit. I want to give us the best chance to get the highest return on ad spend. So what are the products that I should start with? A client of mine, a past client of mine, she called it like, hey, this is the gateway drug of my company.
I love that.
If they try this, they're going to definitely come back. So I remember asking you this question, and it was the Firm and Lift Regeneration Cream.
Yeah.
And we also have the triple mushroom complex, the latest version of the cream coming out. So that was strategically chosen to be the first big campaign. We had a lot of testimonials, a lot of data telling us that when people use this, they come back. So that's what I'm using. And I also looked at like, hey, what was working before? I don't know if you guys noticed, Peter, especially you, but I used the OG photos and the ads that were like just the simple photos, but they somehow perform. So like, let's push it more, because I think a lot of times, because in our case, Peter, like you were trying to do it in-house before bringing me on for, I think, a few months before. And you, as the founders, like I just have so much you were doing so many things. Ads is a part of like the whole, even marketing, like within marketing, ads is a part, and you're doing fulfillment, you're looking at customer reviews, the product formulation. There's so much plus life, like being parents. So obviously when I am in front of your ads, I think a benefit that I have as a consultant is like, I'm not attached. If it was a different product, I would have been okay, because I'm like looking at the data. I'm not letting my emotions dictate what I'm going to do. I'm looking at the data and I'm choosing. So it's step number one, strategy number one is just like that's selling products that will get us the return. And then between me and Peter, we set our KPIs. I was very clear. This is like my safe goal. This is my stretch. This is like, holy shit, almost, So I always have those KPIs for myself. And when I ran it, we exceeded what our, expectation was. So it also helps to have very trusting like clients and partners, because I don't know if you've noticed, but like the moment I see like, hey, this is performing, I come back and like, can I scale this? And then in your case, you guys are like, yes, let's go. We're acquiring customers. I don't know. Do you remember this? That like on a daily basis? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with Aashima was that we knew right away that it wasn't going to be profitable on the first buy, right? So we knew that the ROAS was below 1. We both understood that going forward. The question was how close to run ROAS to break even could be on the sale, right? So if she said 0.8, oh, great. That's a great candidate for scale. But it was 0.6. Could we scale that? We don't know, right? But the big factor doing it internally, even at 0.6 or 0.8, was that when we got to a certain level of spend, I just couldn't control it. The ROAS would just explode, which means you need more creatives to test, you need more, etc. Also, we didn't have the product base that we had now. So we couldn't sell, we couldn't offer our customers other things that could be interesting to them. So, and then we have the gifting now with our customers that allow customers to understand who we are. So all of this groundwork was being laid in the background when Aashima and I, when she went past that $1,000 they spend and it didn't blow up, that was a trigger point. That was like, okay, things have changed. Now we can scale. Right? So, I mean, and there's a secret sauce here and there's no secret sauce here. The fact that she's able to spend 3 times what I was spending, like 4 times now, leads to more customer acquisition. Yeah. But the other part is that there's a lot of stories beneath that have to kind of come together. A lot of it. Yeah.
That is such a brilliant point. I think ads cannot compensate for not a great offer or not a great product.
That's a good point. Can you say that again?
Market, yeah, like ads cannot compensate for a bad product or a bad offer.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, you could drop ship something for about 6 months.
Yeah.
But maybe the fidget spinner, right? But eventually it'll catch up.
It won't mask what your offer is, if it's terrible or if it's good. So that's a really good point.
Well, I mean, the question you have to ask is this: Are you trying to increase cash flow and then walk away with a little bit of money, or are you trying to build a brand?
Yeah.
Right. If you're trying to build a brand,
it depends, right?
Yeah, exactly. There are some people that they're completely okay with, walking away with 6 figures. Company goes down, maybe they don't pay all the suppliers. They just walk away with some money in their pocket. Some people do that. We're not doing that. We're building.
That's not our people.
Yeah, we're building a brand.
Exactly.
This is a long-term endeavor.
Aashima, there's often fear around investing in ads. I mean, spoke about this briefly earlier, but especially when budgets are tight, how can newer or smaller businesses approach paid ads with confidence? What would you recommend to them?
And I know, throughout this conversation, I want to clarify, we are talking about a company in growth mode.
Yes.
So for someone who's smaller, who hasn't started ads yet, or maybe did, but doesn't know, I think my answer is always this, ads always work. They really do, because you can never really go wrong with more reach. So the only thing ads allow you to do is fail fast.
Yeah.
Right? If you're testing something and organically it was going to take you 8 months to figure out the direction, the messaging, you'll get that data within a month, a few weeks, So ads give you speed. They're a catalyst. So you have to know, hey, do I want speed or do I have more time? You can you can do the organic route. You can post, 100 times a day. I am not that person. I'm not on social all the time. Yeah. And I think a lot of my clients and founders, they don't want that pressure of posting all the time in order to make conversions or sales. So I think ads is a right strategy tactic for you when you are when you're game to test and when you need data to scale. It's always a good idea. I never even if you're this is where you could do smaller budgets if you're early stages, but if you have a product and people buy it, or you have a service, or you have a program, a digital thing, and people buy it, even knowing you personally, even without knowing you personally, then that's a little bit of a glimmer and a green signal. Oh, people are buying it with cold traffic. People who don't know me one-on-one, they are buying this. That means you're good, you're gold, and you should take this tactic seriously. I think we are an agency, obviously, so we actually try to act there's a client of mine, she's like, Aashima, I think you're a fractional CMO, because it's hiring an agency is equal to creating more capacity within your business to do bigger things, to scale. It's almost we're keeping the founders accountable, because it's almost you said we want to scale, so we're going to. For smaller size businesses, I'm trying to think, I'm when is it not a good time to invest in ads? I think it's when your offer is not very clear and you don't have a lot of customer feedback.
I like that.
Yeah, if you don't have a lot of customer feedback, if you don't have a customer saying, oh my God, this changed my life, or oh my God, I told my friend about this, that's a good sign. If you're getting that word of mouth, good sign. And I think for Saranghae, we were able to get so much growth. I think it's more than double. I don't even know the customer acquisition, but I think it happened so fast because you guys had your email sequences, you had your website optimized, you knew we're going to do landing page versus product page. There's a lot of little funnel pieces that are required to make ads scale. So in our agency, we have this approach, and I look at the funnel first. Even for Saranghae, I looked at the website. I'm like, okay, this is good, this is not good. Let's add testimonials, etc. Because my goal is for your landing page or your website to be like answering all the questions that a customer could have. So funnel is equally as important as the ads are like just your organic posts on steroids. Like if you feel like, oh my God, I have good clients, I have good customers, I wish more people knew about this. Good sign that you should be looking into ads.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing I love too about you, Aashima, is you come from a different angle, and I think you touched on this too before, is that you coming in, we see things a certain way, and you've always done it this way, but then you're coming in with a different perspective completely from the ads perspective. So what may work for us in one area may not work. And I remember when we were talking about sale, and we were thinking of doing a BOGO 50, and that was something that we did really well. And you came in with the suggestion not to do that because we had all these new customers who may not know what they want yet, and they don't want two of something when they're just, being introduced to this brand. And I think we had a bit of resistance there initially because that wasn't what is tried and true for us. But in this new phase, having your perspective really was helpful and it made sense. So that's another part of it. That's another part that you bring to the table that people may not understand until they're actually in it and experiencing.
Sometimes past experiences can be caps, right?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
when you've had $1,000 day limit, soft limit for 3 years, what's going to change that? Unless somebody comes in with a fresh perspective and says, well, I don't know, I've never seen it. And then just, test the limits again, right? So
Definitely.
Diversity is always good. I think having always somebody with none of those hang-ups, some experience, but no hang-ups coming in, it's always a good thing, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that I was thinking about this, there are so many little things that we do even beyond ads that actually boost return on ad spend for our clients. I'm going to give you some little examples. So, for example, we had a very great example about hey, we should do BOGO 50 because that's what we've done. We end up attracting a lot of loyal customers. But in this season of growth, I noticed that, hey, we have a lot of new people. Lots of people we're reaching, over 100,000 on, I want to say, daily basis at this point. So I just felt like they could be better captured with just a simple 25% off site-wide. Yeah. And I am not intimidated almost. I think I have this practice now. I've worked with a lot of major brands and creators especially, and who've been doing things a different way. So I know when it's time to actually share the right thing or that I believe. But I also always tell my clients, you're the CEO, you know better than me. You've ran this company for a long time, but I want to show you this other side. There's little things we have another client. She owns 2 Montessori schools in downtown Toronto, and
one of the best.
One of the best, lovely person, and we've been running. We filled out most of her school spots 1 year in advance, and it's because we are always marketing, and no other Montessori school is that on top of their game or ads as us. Yeah, and there's such a little thing. So she does monthly virtual tours for potential parents, and she's a busy person. She's also the principal of the school. So that I have 9 a.m. and then I have 2 p.m. available, so I'll do these 2 times. And we did it a few times and it was good, but the show up rate was, I want to say not ideal. I'm we're spending a lot for these people, I see the lead cost and I'm it'll be nicer if these parents showed up for the virtual tour. And parents are busy, moms are busy, right? Yeah. So understanding the final customer also helps. And I was hey, why don't we try 12 p.m., which is lunch hour, because most of your people are corporate people. And then why don't we try 7 p.m. because that's when the house is quiet and they actually have time to do something or show up for things. It's not that people don't want to show up. It's just that they don't have capacity. And we're talking about parents with potentially multiple children and a lot of schedules that they're trying to manage. The moment we did that, the show up rate was like better by like 30%. So it's not an ad thing. Right? It's just knowing your customer and trying these little things. Another client, like very, like even with us, like I always test whatever I'm going to run. And we catch so many mistakes when we do these tests. Like I go to the page, I'm like, oh my God, because again, you're in it. You're like at the center. You can't even see. Yeah.
So true. That's so
just
true.
like the non-ad things can also like help boost your return if done right.
So true. Now that we've seen what's possible for us in 90 days, where do we go from here, Aashima? How do you think beauty and skincare brand can future-proof their growth in an evolving digital ad space?
I think we're just getting started. Q4. You know, it's coming. I am so excited for Q4. This is also the time, Q3, to prep for Q4. This is the time when you want to build your audiences, when you want to build your list, wait list, you want to, you know, target these new people, because come Q4, there's going to be so much competition. You need to make sure you already have a relationship via ads with these people who've been watching. So that when it's Q4 and it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or holiday sale, they're like, yes, I want this for myself. I want this for my friend. I believe I kind of know these founders' story. Everyone wants to, you know, root for the underdog. And that's what we do a lot with our ads too. And something that we do differently. We're very founder focused in our ads. And that's also a thing that I think the biggest trend right now, like people want stories. And a lot of times.
I'm seeing that too.
Yeah.
They want to feel connected to something bigger than the skin cream. They want to feel attached to the person, and that's really the differentiation between whether someone will buy our product or something else. It's really about us, and if our values, our mission, our story aligns with theirs, or it's something that they aspire to be. So it gives them something to focus forward on. So I really believe that.
Well, there's an old sales adage that's been around for, I don't know, 50, 60 years. It says people buy from people they like, given everything equal, right? And that's an offline sales thing. You know, with people sell, it's corporate sales people selling to companies. But it's true in today's age. It doesn't disappear. People want to buy from people they know and like.
Well, it's quite simple, like and trust. But it's true.
Trust. It's all trust. Yeah, especially in this day and world. Yeah, where there's so many fraud going on, where there's so much competition.
Well, that's the other side of us too. Is that one of the things that we don't do right now is we don't work with UGC creators who are not our customers, and it doesn't mean that they're not good and they're not amazing. And in some cases, I don't want to say no to them because I think they're fabulous. But it's part of how we build trust within our community, is to be honest about the people that are sharing our message. I really want them to already love our products. It's a natural and easy share. So that makes sense. So Aashima, I just want to ask one more question because I think it's a really special one. You've been nominated for major awards and have spoken on big stages. What's next for you, the agency, and what legacy do you hope to leave in this space?
It's a great question. Big question. You know what? I'm sitting with that question a lot. And I don't know if this goal was just ingrained in me or if it's actually what I want. But I've always wanted to build like an annual 7-figure agency. But I've refused to operate like other agencies. So I enjoy working with clients. I like strategy. So I'm writing my own blueprint in the agency world. So I think it's almost like everything that I've ever been told about building an agency. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm there to my way.
That's not
So, yeah, if it's
Nothing.
not, yeah. And I think that's what I'm blessed with. I always know what I don't want. Like, so even, going back to my example of like during my bachelor's, I knew I didn't want finance. I didn't want to do taxing. And when I stumbled upon marketing, like this, and within marketing, when I did pay tax, I'm like this. So I think for me, I want to grow by building a really beautiful culture fit company. Like I want to have a slightly bigger team and I've always written it. It's been one of my goals. And I think it happened without me even realizing. I always said, I want my team to care for my clients even more than I do. And I think I just found the paper when I had written it, and I think that is true. My whole team cares about even what that's the person who's like filming your content. They love my clients more than I do. Then there's the editors like, oh, I want to try this. I love working with specialists, and I think I just want to build a company where everybody's like excellent at their specific thing, and they're in their zone of genius. And I believe that I can grow from this place. But yeah, that's my goal. I do not want to do this by sacrificing my life. I'm big on just...
I'm a big believer in that. And I really admire that about you. That's so true.
Yeah. You don't have
You
to
are really
choose.
creating the business around the life that you love. And really zoning in on what you love. And putting a lot of time and attention into that. And then around that, the business supports that life. And I think that's really beautiful, really, to
And I don't
approach
take it
life
for...
in general.
Yeah. Don't take it for granted, the relationships that I have. I always say the quality of my life depends on the quality of my relationships, whether those are professional or personal. So that's my compass. And I believe I can get to my goal. I'm not in a rush. And, most of our business comes from referrals, word of mouth. Like, I don't have to just and I'm very grateful. So yeah, thank you. It always helps to have clients like you too.
But we're
That's
lucky.
good.
I'm grateful. People don't know this, but Aashima and I are in a similar community that we met through. But we were both on a retreat in Whistler, and our flight got turned around an hour before we landed in Toronto back to Whistler. And somehow we ended up in the same hotel together. And it was like love at first sight after that. Like we went for walks and, that flight turnaround ended up being like such a blessing. And I'm really grateful that all happened now because we get to be experiencing the greatness. Aashima, people want to connect with you, if they want to reach out to you and have a discovery call to see whether they're fit, how can they do that?
Yeah, well, I also want to say that was literally the best thing that happened to me. I did get married this year, but next best thing that happened to me.
It's debatable. It's debatable.
But it was right before my wedding trip, and it felt very orchestrated. Because we had a great conversation about all of how I wanted to build my business. I didn't really know what Saranghae was all about. I was like, oh, how did you guys start? It was very different. I did not see this at that time, but our conversation was just so grounding. And I think that's something that I want everyone to know about both of you. Andrea, you're such a grounding presence. And Peter, I feel like his vision casting, and I think both of you together are like a powerhouse. And I'm just so grateful that we get to work together and be in each other's presence and brilliant. So thank you. And as for how can you... The way people can reach out to me is just honestly, I hang out on Instagram when I do. So at the THE Aashima Verma, so AASHIMA VERMA. You'll probably find the link somewhere.
We will. I'll put everything in the show notes for sure. It'll be very easy to find you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I appreciate the compliment, Aashima, for sure. But I just do whatever my wife tells me to do. That's what I do.
I think that's the best strategy for life and business.
Happy life, happy wife, happy life.
I'm getting reminded of this the next time I want to go shopping.
Oh my goodness. That's every day. I'm just kidding.
Aashima, what an incredible deep dive. I hope you love getting behind the scenes look at what's actually possible when strategy, creativity, and bold execution come together. Working with Aashima over those 90 days, and I'm so excited for more, was a game changer for our business. And today's conversation really proves just how powerful the right marketing partners can be. So if this episode sparked something in you, if you're curious, take a moment and share it with another founder who's looking to level up. And if you have any questions, you want to connect with Aashima and can't figure out how, DM me and I will happily connect you. Thank you so much for being here. It's been so special.
Thank you, Aashima. We'll talk later.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Live Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.